Welcome to your Real Estate Review with Alan Canas of Engel & Volker's Silicon Valley, your weekly getaway to the pulsating heart of the global real estate market. Join us as we bring you exclusive interviews with top producing real estate agents from around the globe. Whether you're a buyer, a seller, or just a real estate enthusiast, this is your insider look into the pros, cons, and the captivating allure of the world's most sought-after locations. Let's discover where your next dream home awaits. Buckle up for a real estate journey like no other. This is your Real Estate Review with Alan Canas of Engel & Volker's Silicon Valley. Welcome to your Real Estate Review with Alan Canas. That's me of Engel & Volker's Silicon Valley. I am here with my really good friend, Ann Dolan, and she's with the luxury sector in Centro San Miguel. Hello, Ann.
Hey, Alan, how are you? It's so good to see you.
We made it.
We got to this point so far. That's all I'm saying.
It's great to see you too. Thank you so much for being on the show and being able to share your experiences. And like I say, let's just dive right in. And can you tell us a little bit about what you did before real estate? One of my favorite stories.
Goodness. So, well, I've been in real estate now 28 years. So I got to go way back. When I was a flight attendant. And what I realized, the correlation between real estate and it's a service industry. So if you're able to look someone in the eye and just have a great conversation, I somehow landed here, and that's a whole nother story, but yeah.
But you were not set out to be in San Miguel. Like you said, you just somehow landed here and you fell in love with it.
Well, my husband and I, we've been married. We just celebrated 35 years of marriage. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And we dated on and off for 10. So I met him when I was 15. So it's been more than 3/4 of my life now, which is in our case, it's a good thing, right?
Yes.
And so when we married, we just knew we wanted to experience other countries. We knew we wanted to leave this world with zero regrets, right? I mean, quote unquote, right? We made a conscious decision to move to another country and to learn another language and to open our own business. And that's what we did. It took us, we married in 90. We came here in 91. In 95, I was here 3 months of the year. In 96, I was living here. In 97, when he left his previous military experience, he joined me in 97.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that you were able to make the transition and you both have flourished where you're at.
Yeah, I think if you, we've always had this saying in our family, if you put your lap out there, meaning when you're sitting in a chair and you put your lap out there, that's the only way anything can fall into it. If you sit back and you don't want to try to embrace what might be coming your way, then you'll never get where you're going. You'll never get maybe where you could have gone.
You're right. Definitely. Well, please tell us a little bit about the when, how, and why you are in real estate. Because coming from a flight attendant to real estate...
Right? It didn't make any sense. So what happened is in 1991, when my husband came back from being in Desert Storm, we flew down here, and that's when you would have to fly to Mexico City versus the two international airports that we have now on either side of us, which is, when we talk about transportation, I'll go deeper into that. So we flew into Mexico City. It took us 12 hours to get here. We landed in San Miguel, and it was just like, oh my gosh, cobblestone streets, beautiful church, architecture, weather, the people we met. So from the very beginning, even though San Miguel wasn't necessarily where we thought we would go in 91, that is where we ended up.
And it's beautiful there. The colors are the vibrant colors, the cards that you send. I mean, it's just fabulous. And at some point in time, I will be making a trip there. So
I hope so. So a while back, I did a blog just about the 7 C's of San Miguel, and I've got them written down because I didn't want to forget one. Everybody asks us about how we live here, and it is so hard to put into words unless you actually daily experience it. So the 7 C's are color, culture, community, cost of living, cuisine, climate, and the care that is given here.
Oh, I love it. You don't hear care very often, so it's nice.
Well, I will tell you, just to give you an example, we chose about 4.5 years ago to move my mother-in-law here at 90.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That's a big move.
That's a big move. And, we were fortunate enough to be able to plant a rose garden and have hummingbird feeders for her. And she was just here on Saturday. And the way she is touched, and I don't know, the attention they give is just beautiful. It's just beautiful.
That's nice. It really is. Would you tell us a bit about your background in real estate and your specific experiences with clients purchasing a first, second, or third home in San Miguel?
So when I initially came here, so I became a partner in a company in 1996. It was the first full service company here, meaning property management, leasing, and sales. I learned a tremendous amount about when you cross your border, if you're not comfortable with just being in the United States, when you go internationally, I learned what people needed. I learned how I could help them. And so that's how I got started here. It was in that realm. And then we sold it in the year 2000, decided to have kids. I was always in the marketing aspects of our businesses. And then I decided to go back into, it's kind of a funny story. I went back into real estate when I guess he was 8 years old then, 7 or 8 years old. You might appreciate it. Might appreciate this with your 7th grader.
Yes.
He goes, so Mom, what do you do all day? And I said, what do you mean? I work for the family. I'm constantly driving y'all around. I'm doing this. Nah, Mom. You're at the water park. You're at the water park. And so that day is when I called our partner Nancy back and I said, oh my gosh, I have to show my kids what it's like to have to work, want to work, to give them guidance, to not let them think that everything just falls in their lap. And so that's when I went back into work. That was 2015.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. So the water park, you had to hang up your swim trunks. That's great.
Or going down the tube. I don't know. Honestly, to this day, our family kids about it. We don't know what he was thinking, but that's what he saw his mom, how he saw his mom at that point in time. And so that was what was the narrative that I had to change.
I remember with Casey, she was in 3rd grade and they had the parents come in and tell what they did for a living. And so I dressed in a suit on top and shorts on the bottom so that I could show in Hawaii, you dress like this. In New York, you dress like this. And here in California, you can dress like this. And that I was a real estate agent, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the funny things is, because where we're at, and I guess we just kind of take it for granted. I said, if you had anything to change about your house, what would it be? And kids were, I want a submarine to be able to come underneath. I want to have my yacht to be able to pull up to I mean, it was pretty amazing what these kids wanted. And they're in 3rd grade. Yeah. And then I said, how many have you been to Paris? They all raised their hand. How many have been to New York? They all raised their hand. I looked at the teacher and she goes, they've been everywhere.
Wow. Isn't that amazing? So how clever to even think of that as a topic.
Yeah, that's me. And that's the kids were just, their imaginations just ran wild. To have a submarine go underneath your house and pick you up. I mean.
Well, Alan, for you to be in a tie and a jacket and shorts.
Oh.
Works both ways on that one.
Works both ways. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, what are some of the unique features or attractions in San Miguel that make it such an appealing destination besides the seas for people coming to purchasing a home there?
I think it's an environment. So I was just out with a client this week, and he was trying to incorporate, okay, I'm 50, how am I going to find my group? And I was, trying to find the right words to make him comfortable, because I came here when I was 31. Um, Most of my friends were 20 years older. Now, for the first time, I had a car seat after my kids. I mean, I had someone looking for real estate this week with a car seat. And I have not heard babies, be babies for 22 years in my car. And it was such a fascinating, cool experience. And what they want to do, they want to they have a 16-month-old and she's pregnant. So they're looking at a home where they can both work remotely, where their kids can become bicultural and bilingual.
Love
And
it.
they want to show their kids another facet of what life can give you if you put your lap out there.
Yeah. It's such an amazing opportunity to be able to add to your children's life and their
Yeah.
lifestyle. I remember when Casey was in kindergarten and we were traveling. Mark and I have always traveled, but now we have this baby, and her kindergarten teacher said, until she gets to college, high school,
I felt
travel as much as you can with her and give her the life experiences rather than sitting in a classroom. And so, without going overboard, of course, and so that life experience, to be bilingual, to be of another country, et cetera, is just amazing.
I think every single opportunity that any parent has to expose their child, whether it's state to state, an international border, I think any form of travel helps your kids get a different perspective in life versus just living in the same neighborhood with the same people their
Yeah.
whole life. So I think the fact that you travel with her is fascinating. I can give you an example of our son who's getting ready to fly in next Thursday to do this. So in Mexico, we are the cradle of independence in San Miguel. And so since our son was, 6 years old, the first time he did this, he was on a pony, and he would get out of school for the 4 days because he would be in the next state, Querétaro. The governor would it would be like the Paul Revere ride, back when, and he would
Oh,
hand
yeah.
the message. So then they ride 2 days. Now, he didn't get to do all that because he was, so young. And then they would hand it to the mayor here. And then the next morning, they handed it to the governor in the next state. And it has
Oh, wow.
signified the entire, I think because of horses, because of the exposure here, because of where we're located, they understand the independence better than anybody. And so my son's he's now 19, and he is flying in, and he can't wait. He's going to be around the mariachis and, all that you do. But historically, more than anything, is what he lived.
Well, it's a great opportunity. It's a great experience. And so many kids, I didn't have that growing up. I had a great childhood, don't get me wrong, but I didn't travel. Not like this. We're
Right.
a middle class family, and my parents worked. We grew up in the same house. I only moved
Right.
twice in my entire life not my entire life, until I was 22. So,
Well, don't you even think that this generation is so different than how we grew up? Exactly what you're talking about. But you'd go to work for a company, and you'd work at the same company for 30 years, wherever that company was. I mean, we're kind of really talking more about family than real estate, but it's all related as how everything has evolved, and with social media and all the things that kids are exposed to. They live in a time where they don't even know what a rotary dial phone is.
no.
They don't know. How would they know?
They don't know what a CD player is. They don't.
track tape. Let's take it farther back. 8 tracks.
I wasn't going to go that far back.
Maybe I'm showing my age.
But no, you're right. And so all of these things but their worlds have expanded so much, and watching that. I mean, we went to Shanghai this year, and it, for this part of the summer, and we summer in Lake Tahoe. There's so many different things we're able to do now that we really didn't do growing up in the 80s and the 70s. And the opportunities weren't there as much, I don't feel. And my dad, like we're talking about, retired from PG&E. He was there for 40 years.
Yeah.
And same company. But some
of those people now are my clients. Mm-hmm. And I understand that commitment, that dedication to the company, to the family, in a different way than we all are doing it now.
Yes.
So just taking it back a little bit into like our clients, I would guess my average client is probably, well, golly, I had a baby in the car, so, and she was pregnant. So, okay, this was a new one for me, but on average, my guess would be 60 to 65, would be 68 when people really want to open their own horizons because of their own exposure for their age group. And also the thing that makes, going back to the 7 C's, but I'm not talking about that, is the community here. You can come into this community, and if you know one person, you will, within, I swear, 72 hours, you will have 8 people that are going, oh, let's go get a coffee. Oh, let's go have a glass of wine. Let's go hear the mariachis in the town center. So there's so much vibrancy here, as far as day in and day out living. And then you not expose, that wouldn't be the right word, but you have the culture. And there's some of our clients that come here and they only care about staying in their lane. They're happy just speaking English and all that. And then there are those that just want to jump in and have a foot in both canoes, and they're heavy into the NGOs, and they'll go out in the campo and they'll be speaking to young kids in Spanish. I mean, there's so many different levels here you can live that, honestly, one of my notes was, it's hard to explain a lifestyle. It's hard to explain what we live day in and day out. You just have to experience it.
Well, and I think you've answered this question. We're all hearing the buzz about San Miguel.
Right.
And what is the excitement about, and why are people purchasing in San Miguel?
I think, having lived here as long as I have, I've seen different evolutions of San Miguel. I see different reasons for why people lived here. So when my husband and I chose to live here, we weren't at that point in time thinking about raising our kids here. We were just wanting a year experience that turned into 28 years. Even when my partner and I had our business that we sold in 2000, the moment somebody wanted more hangers in their closet, we're like, you're missing the whole point of being here, right? And now with the luxury brands that came in around, well, first off, being part of UNESCO in 2007, and then the Rosewood, Le Hotel Dos Casas. We had some Matilda. Oh my gosh, that's contemporary art. It was way ahead of its time. Still is one of the most popular hotels here. When all of a sudden we got on the Nationals radar, and which was exciting because they always kind of looked at us as like, we're country folks, And so it was really to see all the different decades, because I can now say, which is amazing, I can say that. The decades, it's been beautiful to see it evolve. And then I was in a debate with a friend of mine that started a podcast, and he was saying, all the old folks that have been here for a long time, I go into that category because I've been here for as long as I have. And, they aren't happy with all the changes, huh?
I said, but you're not an old folk.
No, heavens no. I'm young at heart. But his point was, the people that have been here for so long, they don't like all the growth. And my my comment always is, if a city is not growing, it's dying. So you only have two ways to look at it. Everybody wants to be the last one to close the door on paradise.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
that happens in your area, in the Bay Area. You know, they don't want more people, and your prices just keep going up and up and up. And then the people that have lived there their whole lives, you know, people want to say, "Oh my God, you pushed them out." Well, not really, because you were able to sell your property for an amount you would have never had and live a different life than you could have had.
So true.
So I know, but I might be hitting a topic I shouldn't, but it is true.
No, you're good.
It is true. It is 100% true.
My parents are a prime example. My mom says everybody thinks Pacifica is foggy. And it's foggy probably 20 something percent of the year. The rest of the time in the back of the valley, it's gorgeous. And she
Right.
says, I don't want people to know that.
Yeah.
What you do if you want your property values to be higher.
Right.
And she said, well,
Right.
yeah, there's that. And speaking of property values,
Uh-huh.
how would you describe the current real estate market in San Miguel?
You know, I feel like our market as of this summer has just exploded. And I think what we had to live through, which you all don't in the United States this particular year, is we had to live through an election of a president here and then an election of a president there. And I don't want to go into politics, because what I'm seeing is it doesn't matter what party you're in. I think people now are a little bit more comfortable where things are going. There's some people that just maybe want out of the United States. There's some people that just want a different experience outside of the United States. I see a little bit of everything here.
Yeah.
And I think that this past year for us, 2024, was tough because we had to go through two different presidential elections. And then you have to see how both sides shake out. And they're still figuring it out. But the two countries are so intertwined that those of us that are here, we know it will work out.
Yeah.
It can't not. It just can't not. So and I hate all the stuff. That's not a family word we use, but
Dislike.
you know, I just dislike all the rhetoric that, you know, wants to pit people against people. Just, you know what? Just choose what you want to do. Realize where you're comfortable and how you want to experience and have some great years of your life, wherever it is. I'm not even just saying San Miguel. I'm saying wherever it is.
And it's okay for somebody to be in the left lane and somebody to be in the right lane. You don't
Absolutely.
have to ridicule one another for being in your different lanes. And just, can't we all just get along? Oh no, let's break out into song.
We should. Yeah. Why can't we just get along?
What trends should potential relocators be aware of when they are thinking about coming to San Miguel?
Relocators, I don't even use that word. I use more second homes, because we don't have a relocation market, right? We are 100%. It's a passion destination. So, you know, you're either going to want to own and have pride in what you own and jump in. Language is not that big of a barrier here. Just like it's not in Houston, Texas. I mean, you can go anywhere.
A lot of people feel that language is the biggest barrier.
Not here. I mean, when I call the United States to take care of whatever I need to, I mean, press 1 for English, press 2 for Spanish. So I don't see language being a big barrier here. So more than anything, my family is light-haired, you know, light-eyed, and my husband isn't, and one daughter isn't. But it doesn't matter. Wherever we go, they want to practice their English. And so I will speak to them in Spanish, and I will be saying, I did that perfect. And then they're going to go, and how can I help you? And I'm going, wait, I was just trying to order that in Spanish, and you didn't understand it. or whatever it is, right? The other, if you want to, it would be language. It would be learning to be bicultural. It would be learning to be very respectful. It would be learning that mañana, we have the saying, mañana, everybody knows that means tomorrow, right? So mañana here doesn't necessarily mean tomorrow. It just means not today.
It's not
So
today.
that's another, but that's a culturalism. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not something that, you can necessarily learn. And then the only other thing would be if you're wanting to remodel or buy an old hacienda, you're going to have to deal with some of the regulations for a historical property. But I think that's in every city and every town.
I agree. Here, where we're at in Burlingame, Hillsborough, San Mateo, I mean, it's pretty strict.
Yeah.
Lake Tahoe, same thing, it's strict. So that's pretty much everywhere.
Right.
And we talked about some of the challenges. What are some of the common pitfalls, challenges that people are facing when purchasing in San Miguel, and how do you help them navigate through these?
Well, I think our purchasing process is quite simple. It's in your name. It's what I think most states in the U.S. call fee simple. We're not near an international boundary, so you do not have to put it into a trust. It's quite an easy process. How we do it is you go in, and I try to do a full circle tour of where I'm comfortable with my clients purchasing for their investment, right? And so once we do that tour, let's say they found a house that was in the area exactly that they wanted. It had the check marks, because you have to choose check marks, because it's not like going into a certain neighborhood in the U.S. where most of the houses are all the same. You can have a $3 million house next to a $200,000 lot, or there's so many caveats to where you buy and the price point. But it's not a hard process. So you go through the offer to purchase, which is basically just to come to terms, price, time, whatever. And then we do an inspection, and then we go to the buy sell. And it was so funny. I've got a closing at 9:00 in the morning. Buyers, sellers are sitting at the same table. I don't think that's common.
No, that never happens. You never have them in the same room.
And here, everybody is, the people that are selling their house had so much pride in their house, and they are passing it on only because they're probably leaving because of health reasons, which our health care is great. Grandchildren. I just was in a house the other day, and they're leaving because she lost her husband, and she and her girlfriend want to travel the world. I mean, they're not leaving because of any other reasons than I just stated. So Nancy, our partner, she'll never leave. She's going to be here the rest of her life. She's like, I am so happy here. Her daughter's here. I'm sitting here and I'm looking out at my view right now, and the temperature, we didn't even go into the climate. Our summer is the month of May. So it starts around the third week of April, goes to the second week of June. So summer that's why half of Texas comes. So now we can go into, who are your feeder markets? Well, state of Texas, state of California, and then you jump off, like I just was on a call with somebody from North Dakota. Chicago's a big market, New York, obviously, Nashville, Atlanta. And I would say our main focus in marketing, when we're talking about that, would be to California and to Texas.
The bordering states.
Florida too, but Floridians love their life. They love what they have too. So
yeah,
and they have no state income tax and all that, so that's different.
And speaking of climate, how is the business and economic climate in San Miguel?
Right now, we have been really busy, as we talked about earlier, getting through the 2 elections. And then all of a sudden, July 1st hit, and it has just been wide open.
Boom, boom, boom.
It's been boom, boom right now. One of my notes I'd made were, we had such a gastronomic, so it changed when the hotels came in. And we became known more as a gastronomic place to
Okay.
come and a little bit high-end spas and all that. We have a Waldorf that just started. We have a Marriott that has which I have not been to because I just found out last week, but has a Michelin star chef. So woohoo, gonna go there. There's just so much. There's so much opening up to us. There's always a rumor of Four Seasons is coming. We have the Rosewood Residences, which are great. They're getting ready to start 20 more homes.
It sounds wonderful. And can we talk a little bit about the outdoor living? What are some of the activities that are available for people that like to be outdoors?
Well, since we're able to be outdoors year round, I mean, literally, my doors are all open right now. They're open here. The temperature's perfect. But as far as we have everything from horses, hiking, bikes, balloon, we have everything. We have everything. The only thing we don't have, and I cannot make this one up, is water.
Okay.
So
That would be a little
there's
tough to do boating.
well, wouldn't it? But there's a triangle here of people that I don't know. There's a contingency in Puerto Vallarta,
Okay.
Zihuatanejo. There are people that are coming more and more in from Cabo, which is interesting because they probably think our real estate is just free, like Californians do. That's the only thing that we're missing here.
Okay.
I mean, you can take puppet making classes. You can take clay classes. You can do jewelry classes.
Wow.
Photography, any discipline, anything that is your passion, you will find. And so that was one of the conversations I had with a client this past week. He was like, how do I find my group? I said, well, what do you mean? What do you like? Immediately, NGOs here. So a majority of them have been started in the last 25 years by Americans. There are probably 140.
Wow.
So
Jeez.
whether you want to help, well, in a little small town like this, that's a lot.
That's
so
a lot.
It is a lot. And so whether you want to help children, you want to help elderly, you want to help with food, you want to help with education, you want to help with, I just got something today about young girls hitting puberty, how to help them. Then I'm going to, on Tuesday, we're going to a black tie event, black tie in San Miguel, which is hysterical. But we have started doing that now. I mean, we started about 5 years ago. So anyway, we're going to an event at the Rosewood, and it's to support a charity that is very near and dear to our heart. It would be similar to Habitat to Humanities,
Okay.
but it's called Casita Linda, and the beauty of it is the woman owns the land. I don't know if this is going political or not, but the woman does own the land.
Okay.
And then it's like block housing, and then we go in and we paint the house and we help with blankets and pots, pans, and all
that's
that.
Wonderful.
And every single time, it's the husband and wife and the kids. It's the husband and wife and the kids that are out there helping us. And then they come out and they bring us pozole and we'll make tortillas. And
oh, I love it.
If you've got to be able to, I think if I was going to give a big takeaway, you're doing yourself a disservice in this community if you don't get involved with everybody here. You can't just stay in a certain lane. You shouldn't. You can.
Especially not an area which has never been said before, offers puppet making.
Well, okay, so oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to send you. So mojigangas
Okay.
are the tall puppets that you. I have one in my office. It was we brought one into our office because it was something for tourists to be able to come in and see and experience. So you crawl into this little wooden thing and you have a little window about halfway down a skirt, and then you've got this big head up here.
Okay. Yeah.
And you dance through the streets. And so what people do, you can take that class, you can bring your own bottle of wine, you can bring cheese, you can just have a big time. But what a lot of times how they're used is for weddings. So you have a bride and a groom, and they In this case, with me and you, it'd be darker hair, dark eyes, it'd be blonde, blue eyes, and they make the puppet to look as close to you as they can.
Oh, that's wonderful. That sounds
Isn't
like
that fun?
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it is fun.
The next question, I want to keep going on with the puppet making, but where people are going to want to know about real estate. In what ways do you as a real estate agent provide value to someone relocating or moving from another region or state? And how do you differentiate yourself from other agents in San Miguel?
Well, that's kind of somewhat easy for me. Longevity, experience, and my knowledge. There are not many people that can compete with how long I've been here in the industry. So that right there knocks out a majority of the people. I think my advice to anybody that would be interested is, what is your goal? Leave this world is too strong, but how do you want to experience this world? And I would say embrace and enjoy the process. Realize there's nothing about perfection. Realize, just like in the US, you're going to have some surprises. I do my best to eliminate. I will spend hours trying to get to an answer if I don't already know it. Like today, I'll give you a little silly example. Okay, I don't know a lot about septic systems, and this is a country property. And so I'm trying to I'm trying to learn as much as I can about a septic system. And then it's time to bring in the professionals. It's time to bring in the people that really can give you the answers. But I'm going to do the due diligence to see if you still want to continue to move forward with the idea of buying a house that has a septic system.
Yeah.
And if that gets scary for you, then let's just move on and go somewhere else, and it's tied to the community's drainage. So
it's funny that you bring up septic. We were in Tahoe and we went to a property that is almost 100 years old, and it's on septic, and they've owned the property for 32 years. They have never had the septic looked at, emptied, or changed. That blew my mind, because here in the Bay Area, some Hillsborough properties, some Woodside properties, et cetera, have septic, and you have to have them looked at every 2 years.
Well, see, that's what my husband was explaining to me. And then it depends on how the septic is set up.
Yes.
And it depends on how, like I have septic where I live. And Jim said, you know what, in 5 to 10 years, I said, well, why is that such a broad, he said, Ann, it just is because of how we created it. Mm-hmm. Our other house that we had, and oh God, I don't know all these terms because I just heard them this morning, but we had like a rigerator, or I don't know what it was, but we were able to take all of our septic, even the black water, and then put it on our garden.
Yes.
And so what's the important thing here that my husband Jim made me realize today is, and you've got to find out, is it concrete? Is it plastic? How deep is it? How wide is it? They keep asking me about runoff. Well, I don't know, because I've never had a septic runoff.
Well, oftentimes even people that have it, they don't know. They don't know. I had a client in Woodside, and we listed the property, and he didn't tell me it was on septic. He didn't know it was on septic. He's owned it for 17 years. He did not know. And it's been a rental for 16. And I said, wow. Yeah. So that was a shocker, because the neighbors came in and they said, well, you're on septic. There's these 6 homes. And I said, we're like, what?
But you know what, Alan, to your point and my point, we wouldn't have even thought of that necessarily.
Yeah.
You didn't think about that. And it was no negligence at all on like your part, not knowing that in that compound. That was something technically your seller should have told you, right? But he didn't know.
He didn't know. And I said to him, when you bought the property, and he said, Alan, I only lived there a year and it's been a rental. He said
Yeah.
nothing's ever gone wrong with it. And so it was
Right.
built right. It was done right. But
Right.
all of a sudden it was like, oh no, and now we're scurrying. But it's our job, and which you do amazing, to find out and do get the history or get the information on it and then inform our clients. So,
Right. Okay, I have a question for you now.
okay. Uh-oh.
Engel Volkers, congratulations.
Wait, say that again.
You Engel Volkers.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
That,
you.
that's new since I met you 4 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was something that I was not looking to do. And I met Ken Dara
Uh-huh.
at a function, and we've known each other for years. And before I knew it, we're going to lunch. He is telling me about EV. And then I meet Michelle Pender, and she's telling me about EV. I meet
Good.
Dolly Hertz, and then
Good.
Gene Merkelbach. And it's all of a sudden, it's like, wow, how can I not be part of this amazing company?
Good for you.
Truly amazing company. So now I'm a licensed partner opening the Burlingame office. So yeah,
I wanted to give you a shout out because it's been
thank
fun
you.
watching you evolve and not evolve. You were already so present, but just this whole new cycle of Engel Volkers for
It
you.
is. It's a whole new exciting chapter. So thank you. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. Yeah.
Well, and this leads me into my next question, that I am very much a foodie. I love food. And
Mm-hmm.
as many people know, before I was in real estate, I owned a company called Beyond Gourmet
Oh,
and hosted
I
dinner
bet.
parties. Yes, and it was a big thing. And so I'm hearing more and more about San Miguel, and it's becoming a foodie destination. You talked about Michelin
Yeah.
rating in I think it
Right.
was the Marriott.
Right.
So would you tell us a little bit about the culinary experiences?
You know what? I think it really started about, I want to say 2008. And I will tell you, I feel like to a degree, Jim and I were somewhat instrumental in this because we partnered up with some very strong people out of Mexico City and then had our team here. And we had Rick Bayless come in. And I mean, it was 1,000-person event for San Miguel, which doesn't have those kind of events. I mean, hardly now. Well, now we have weddings for 800, but
Yeah.
yeah, it has changed. But I think when we really started going on the radar, I think that helped it. It was a gourmet magazine out of Mexico City that helped us put this on. It was his idea, obviously. And then when you have a Rosewood, a Matilda, Le
Yeah.
Hotel, Dos Casas, and so they started back then what was a great name. It was called Smart. So SMA, San Miguel de Allende, but then you play off of the ART for art. And so we all began being involved in all kinds of culinary events, art openings. And so that's when San Miguel trajectory really started to shift because it became on people. It became geez, Lord, I can't get it out right. It started to become, how's that, on people's radar. And people would come in, and then you have O2Me, which is a jumping event that we have. We have 500 to 600 horses that come in 4 times
Wow.
a year from all around the world. And so their expectations for food, I mean, this all was happening in the same time. And so their expectations for a nice meal, just everybody started to have to elevate.
How do you think that the real estate market has changed in the recent years, particularly in regards to the purchasing trends in San Miguel?
My clients are coming here for multi-generational reasons. Grandparents. So Jim and I had a party on the 2nd of January. We had about 150 people here, and it was a beautiful moment because the people that he and I had started with, because remember at the beginning I said all of our friends were older because we came here
Yeah.
so young. You know, they all had kids when we all met them, and then they started having grandkids when Jim and I were having kids. I mean, it's just kind of been one of those. So we had a multi-generational party, and so what I do see is that the grandparents, the great grandparents, the hierarchy in the family, they are wanting to have the moments with their kids that give them experience that they'll walk away with for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do everywhere. Here you can be in a 7-bedroom house. You have somebody making your breakfast, lunch, dinner. You have somebody attending to your bed. So every moment you're with your family is 100% quality. Even in the 90s when I was here, the women would come in and were like, this is awesome. I get to talk to my kids. I get to have fun. But it was before the internet. And so the husbands were like trying to figure out, if you didn't play golf, you didn't ride horses, what do you do all day? Well, that has so shifted, especially, of course, with the internet. Now the guys are able to come here and work the entire month. They don't have to fly in and out on the weekends. So the experience itself as a family unit has changed, evolved, and is beautiful.
I love it. That's great. Casey, she's 12. And
Right.
since she started at school, it's always been so important for me to make a good breakfast for her. And don't get me wrong, there are those days that she gets a bowl of cereal. But for the most part, it's eggs, bacon, it's something, pancakes. I enjoy it. And because it's for such a short period of time, and it's going to be poof, and she's going to be off college and etc. And that's how I grew up. My mom was stay at home until I was 10 or 11, but we had breakfast and etc. So I enjoy that quality time.
Well, and one of the things that our kids grew up with, so they would go to school and they would have almuerzo, which is around 11 o'clock. We'd send them, a snack. And then they would leave school at 2:30. And every single day we were having family lunch at 3:30, and then they'd be off to their activities, whether it was swimming, golf, horse, whatever.
That's lovely.
That Jim and I attribute part of why our family is so close is that every single day we had lunch together. We all took an hour and a half to sit there, talk about our day, and then everybody scatter. I mean, that's just, everybody does that.
It.
And then here, I'd love to, I know we're almost at an hour, I'd love to end it with family is everything. Every weekend, there's not a restaurant we couldn't take our kids to. They're included in everything. And that also is a beautiful thing, because your kids at a young age are learning to really have a good conversation with adults. Yeah. Yet they're running around with their friends having a blast, and you're able to sit back and enjoy and watch them as they're doing it. And that was a beautiful thing. And I think I need to ask my kids some of these questions so that I can incorporate what they feel now as a 22, 20, and 19-year-old about what they experienced.
You should, definitely. Yeah. And on that note, Anne, I want to thank you so much for being on the podcast. And anyone that is looking to think about, have questions regarding San Miguel, Anne Dolan is the person for the luxury sector in Central San Miguel. And thank you so much for being on the show. This has been your Real Estate Review with Alan Canas. Again, that's me with Engel & Volker, Silicon Valley. Until next time, thank you.